Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking with a Dad. We have some breaking news here. John Jones gets away with murder yet again. John Jones gets away again. Steve is elated.
The greatest ever.
Steve flew down to Albuquerque against all judgment. Avoided quarantine somehow.
Listen to me. John hired me to do one specific job. Anytime he gets in trouble, he's like, Steve, get your ass down here right now. And you get me out of this. And I show up to all the necessary houses that I have to go to. I'm like, and I use the best legal defense ever created. Since the Greeks came up with civilization, John has employed the best defense. Him and Trump, they both use it. Do you know what it is?
Nope.
Come on! Like that's his defense. He's just literally like, come on!
John Jones here. All right, John Jones takes a plea deal to avoid any sort of time on his March 26th arrest for DUI, aggravated DUI, hold on, sorry, this is his original charge, aggravated DWI, negligent use of a firearm, possession of an open container, and no proof of insurance. John Jones, 32 years old.
And wearing Skechers.
And wearing Skechers, which are in now. This is his plea deal he took. 96 hours of community custody, essentially house arrest. Now, 1 year of supervised probation. Okay, whatever. Everyone's been on probation once or twice. And here's the one that's going to piss you off now that I just read this. A minimum 90 days of outpatient therapy, which will be conducted via video conferencing due to the pandemic. And 48 hours worth of community service.
Oh, you know what? It just dawned on me. This makes sense. They're not prosecuting low-level offenses.
John Jones got away with a DWI at the perfect time. Also, he was outside of a downtown nightclub. I didn't realize this. We were originally told, led astray, by the way, by sources, that it was outside of his house. And he missed his end of probation date by 2 months outside of his end of probation. Now he's back on a year of probation and has to do 90 days of outpatient therapy.
Wait, say that last part again. So he was still technically on probation.
No, sorry, I said that backwards. He's 2 months outside of his prior probation.
Okay.
Now is another year's worth, which, you know what, he doesn't get in trouble while on probation. I mean, I think a probation officer is working overtime for him. This is ridiculous. He's a serial offender, right? He's a repeat offender. What do you think, Steve? Tell me what you think.
All right, so I'm not walking back any of the stuff I said before. In fact, without getting into what I used to do for a living, Zach is well aware of this, and most people who might be friends of me know what I did for a living. John needs help, in my humble opinion. That's what makes it. That's what makes it my opinion, and this is conjecture at its best. I think John should have gotten at least 6 months inpatient, court mandated, but obviously that's not, you can't do that now with this going on. So here's what I think. I think this works out in his favor if, like any person dealing with what looks like substance abuse to me, if he takes advantage of it, right? He can do the home therapy sessions. He can stay in the house and sober up and be away from it long enough where physically his mind can acclimate being off of drugs and alcohol. But he's got to make some behavioral changes. And that's only going to come, in my experience, I've only ever seen it come with disastrous consequences. A loss of something where people are truly motivated. I hope John is the exception to that. I have seen a few people get their stuff together and even gone back to drinking, and their life is totally functioning now. For some people, that's it. Once they're done with it, they have to be done with it. I think John might be one of those people, in my humble opinion. I have not seen anything in his behavior that leads me to believe that this man can differentiate between a bad decision and a horrible decision. Right? Like, it is a horrible decision to be outside of a nightclub when you're John Jones, right? It's just a horrible PR situation. Okay. It's an even worse decision to be John Jones drunk in your Grand Cherokee and your high sweatpants and Skechers. You're a public figure, man. Like, guys like him and Connor, they need to realize something. Hire a driver, man. Drink at home. If you really need to drink, stay at home, bro. You cannot go out anymore and do this stuff. And this is to any professional athlete that's just bumbling through life. I think John really needs to take a good look at his life. And I say this as a fan, not as some critic who just wants to hate on him. I say this as a person who knows him not personally at all. As a fan who's watched him grow up in the sport, I would implore the people who are closest around him, I know you've already done it, I beseech you, start helping John experience some consequences. Tell him what he stands to lose outside of his career. You know?
Yeah.
I got really serious. I'm sorry, dude.
No, that's fine. I'm just reading his statement, trying to skim through it, but it's pretty generic. You know, he's disappointed for letting people down in his life, and you know,
he's got this on copy and paste, man.
Yeah, I know, and that I have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, like whatever.
Pseudo. That's called. I'm not going to blow it up, right? But that's called pseudo program talk. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. That's called pseudo therapeutic program talk. No real accountability. And Zach hates that. Tell him how much you hate the lack of accountability.
I just hate it. You know, if you're going to do something and not be able to, you know, take the repercussions or the consequences for your actions, then you know what? You might as well just be beheaded. That's it. We might as well just take him to the middle of the street in France and just guillotine him.
Zach he's for Sharia law, Islamic law. He's also for beheadings.
The last one I'll go with. I just, you know, listen, you could be the greatest of all time at your sport, right?
Right.
And still be a bottom 5% human, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where John is heading.
So here's the thing about sports, right? So this is a little different. So I'm going to take you back a little bit. Maybe
here we go.
before you even born.
Probably.
You know who? Yeah. You know who Michael Jordan is? I'm sure you've heard of him.
The crying meme guy.
Yes, that guy.
Okay. All right. Okay, that guy. Oof, okay.
Some might consider him the GOAT.
Most consider him the GOAT.
Yeah, most people consider him the GOAT. And but I want to take you to a time right after the first three-peat, where Michael Jordan had just tragically lost his father in a carjacking gone wrong. His dad was killed. And Jordan started having some personal problems of his own. Right before he stepped away from the sport for 18 months, I believe it was, he actually started accruing some very public gambling debacles. Where
he still has those.
Yeah, where he was paying off the wrong people, and it was becoming very public. And a lot of people thought that was going to tarnish his memory, tarnish his legacy. But you know what kept his legacy intact? Winning 3 more championships, right? Because people have short memories when it comes to this type of stuff, dude.
Yeah, man.
And here's the thing, right? That's what John has to deal with. So what does the UFC do? What can't they do, right? They can't do anything, right? This is not going to impact it.
So they could.
The peripherals look bad. They look bad.
They do, right? But they've also. So no, you're right. They can't do anything. They took in Greg Hardy, who the NFL wouldn't deal with, right? Like, it's really hard to say what they can and can't do, because they've set a precedent of being okay with people who have issues outside of fighting, right? They really can't. They couldn't turn now and make they couldn't make an example out of John, especially because, you know, he's one of their draws. Not a great draw, but he's one of their draws, right?
Yeah.
They can't do anything to him. They would have a long list of things to do before you get to John, right? You have to fully cut BJ Penn, right? You cannot let BJ Penn anymore.
He's done, by the way. He's not allowed back in the UFC.
No. Dana has said that 4 or 5 times at this point.
Right.
So I don't believe that until they cut his contract, right?
Yeah.
Greg Hardy needs to go. You need to make an example out of Greg Hardy for his issues in his past, right? There's someone else that I'm thinking of too. It's not off the top of my head, but like John Jones is 5 or 6 on the list behind people who have had more serious. Connor, yeah, Connor for sure.
Connor, he traveled across not state lines, country,
international, and perform an assault on a bus of people. Which I agree with Shab on this one, right? You're all professional fighters. Keep your head in a swivel, right? Keep your head on a swivel. Like, just stop. Get some help.
Yeah. Brendan Schaub is the most famous person to ever get knocked out 3 fights in a row. I gotta tell you that, man. Like I don't know if it was 3 fights, and I actually like him as a personality, and I like the way he carries himself. But every once in a while, I remember he was saying he was going to go down to light heavyweight to fight John Jones, and the reaction people had to that was just like, no.
Twice in a row. Oh wait, twice in a row. Twice. Actually, sorry, he lost a split decision to Andre Arlovsky.
He lost a split decision to Andre Arlovsky.
And then got knocked out by Travis Brown.
Yep.
Beat LeVar Johnson and Matt Mitrione before that.
Got knocked out by Little Nog, I believe it was, or Big Nog.
I don't know which. I can't differentiate them. And Ben Rothwell.
Listen. I can't even say those names and be serious. Well, here's the thing. They are also 2 guys who really enjoy Cheesecake Factory. Look it up. It's public record. They love it.
Well,
and I love them for it. John is so let's see what comes of this, right? So peripherals look bad for the UFC, as we were stating, in our opinion. Right, they got to deal with other people before they deal with John. Also, this works out in his favor because there's no card. There's no need for suspension. Why? Because this is not going to impact his ability to perform.
That's where I really thought, especially that he just has to show up over video conference now. He doesn't even have to go to a rehab facility and be there for 90 days. This means he can show up from anywhere, right?
Well, no, so I'd have to know a little bit more if they're going to have him on house arrest while he's doing it.
Hold on. He's on house arrest for 96 hours.
96 hours?
A few days.
Yeah. Few days. That's outrageous.
4 days.
That's outrageous.
John Jones gets away with murder. That's essentially where we are with this. Not literally, but
not yet. But soon, if it keeps going down this path.
Sure I won't put it by him.
He's going to be in the elite class of O.J. Simpson and what's the other guy's name? Ray Rice?
No, Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis. Sorry, Ray Rice. I'm sorry.
Rice just hit his girlfriend in the elevator and knocked her out cold.
Not back in the NFL yet, is he?
I think he retired.
Did he?
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right. Yeah, that's all I got on this situation. But it's a hard time to be Dana right now, right?
Nope.
When is Dana's contract up again? He just re-signed for another 5.
Re-signed for another 5.
Yeah. Right.
Not hard to be Dana. Dana's making money hand over fist, regardless of
he ain't making no money. There's no revenue coming in right now. Where?
Guy, what I was saying, yearly, his salary is probably stupid.
Oh yeah.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Not right now. He doesn't make money based off of the events, I don't think.
I forgot.
He makes it yearly, bro. He makes...
The math wasn't making sense to me. Here, I thought that the athletes were getting paid what they were.
No.
Not that.
Dana is getting paid tens of millions of dollars a year. Essentially nothing. Right. We love you, Dana. We love to have you on the show. So let's wrap this up here. We're kind of beating a dead horse at this point, or hitting our car into pregnant women with drunk driving charges. John Jones gets away with another charge yet again, and doesn't miss a beat. Right? We're not going to be without John Jones for another 18 months.
Listen, we want to hear from you guys in the comment section.
Yes.
Let us know what you think. Avoid toxicity if possible.
No, let's get toxic on this topic. Let's get it out. Let's let it out. Listen, we've all been locked into our houses for weeks now, so we need an outlet somewhere. Let this comment section be our outlet. Let's get toxic about John Jones fucking essentially murdering people and getting away with it for free.
Just remember, you drop that magical N-word and you will get blocked. We'll let you back in 30 days after you thought about it, but none of that craziness.
30 seconds. 30 seconds. Yeah, that's it, guys.
Zach,
thanks, everyone, for...
Zach, Zach. Where can the people find us on social media?
I was getting to that.
You weren't. 100%
you were
winding that.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Share us with your favorite person, and then make them share it with their 3 other favorite people, because we know you only have one favorite person. and let's get the channel popping. Let's get the comment sections crazy on this one.